Yo guys, what's going on? I'm Tim Kelly. This is the Real Sports Talk. Thank you guys for tuning in. For copyright reasons, I have to react to this call, and I cannot actually post the audio because the audio is owned by 92.9 in the game in Atlanta. But if you did not hear this audio, I'll leave a link in the description. I'm reading some of this from a Bleacher Report article. And, first of all, you need to know the background. Clemson and Georgia are playing a huge Week 1 showdown, and Clemson came out on top. And quite honestly, I agree with this caller in the fact that Mark Richt seems to have one of the best teams all the way going back to when Matt Stafford and No Sean Moreno were there. Every year they seem to have one of the top 5 or 10 teams ranked in the country, and rarely do we see this team in a BCS bowl game. And I think that this caller may have a point, but he goes so far. He calls into a post-game show on 92.9, the game in Atlanta. Originally, when I heard about this, I'm like, okay, let me listen to this. And at first, it sounds like the guy, like the one host said, has a quiver in his voice, but it didn't sound like he was crying. He was talking about how he loves the Dogs and how he's a huge Georgia fan, which is understandable. I mean, we all know the passion for SEC football in the South, but he continues to go on saying how they need to fire Mark Richt, and one of the hosts reacts to it and says, who would they replace him with? And he gives a pause, kind of like he wasn't expecting that question, like he was expecting everyone in the heat of the moment to just go along with what he says, and he said he doesn't know, and he breaks down. You can hear him crying and talking about how he doesn't know who they should replace him with, but Mark Richt is not the guy to be the head coach for the Georgia Bulldogs to lead them to a national title. And quite honestly, a lot of people talk about that you're getting two reactions. You're either getting the BS SEC passion article, or you're getting the, oh, what for lack of a better terms, I'll say baby, but I think we all know the other word that starts with a P that most people are saying. And I think I fall somewhere in between, because the SEC passion in the South is ridiculous. I've done a few live shows on College Football Saturday where I've had people call in and try and convince me that college football is much better than the NFL. And to me, living in the North, always being here, I don't even grasp that concept. But in the South, it truly is that. I went down to Orlando a couple months ago, and I guess that's still not really the deep South, even though it's more southern than these states we're talking about. But it's not Alabama, it's not LSU, it's not the same thing. But I got the passion when I was down there for Florida and Florida State especially because Orlando's Florida State country. And I understood the passion because I was wearing a blue and orange shirt one day, not even a Florida Gator shirt, but one guy kind of gave me a dirty look and made a comment towards me. So I got the passion in the South for SEC football. At the same time, I don't grasp crying, but then the other people saying, oh, he's a baby, it's just a game. I don't see that either, because I don't see those people as being as invested in their teams as true sports fans are. I have to say, when I was in 7th or 8th grade is probably the time where I was most passionate about my sports teams. I think, maybe I'll get back to this at some point, but I think at a certain age, when you're 15 or 16 or so, you start to see the other priorities in your life maybe a little bit first. But back then, I remember watching the Eagles, I'm an Eagles fan, play the Packers in the playoffs with a couple of my friends who, one of them used to be on the show, one of them still makes occasional appearances on the show. And I remember when Michael Vick threw the interception to Tremont Williams, I remember one of my friends literally sitting there bawling after this happened. And I thought it was over the top, but I also said, I looked at one of the other ones and he had no reaction, and I was somewhere in between. I guess I'm just not much of a crier, but I was depressed about the loss, but not as far as crying. And I can't picture picking up the phone knowing that you're feeling this sad. And I guess I can picture it, but I can't picture calling in and literally breaking down on the radio. That to me doesn't make sense. And I guess the one thing that's different is in college football, any week can end your season. It's not like you enter the week knowing that, like a playoff game in the NFL, that, well, if we win this week, we're on, and if we lose, the season's over. In a lot of aspects in college football, any week can be that week, especially in the SEC. So you kind of have to be in that mindset every week, and I understand that. So let me know what you guys think about the Georgia Bulldogs fan crying on 92.9 the game radio in Atlanta. I don't think it was I thought it was a little over the top, but I don't think it's as bad as some people are making it out to be. I think it's great passion and something you like to see out of sports fans. So let me know what you think. Section215.com, Facebook.com/TheRealSportsTalk, @CashKelly_TRST, KASHKelly_TRST. And for anyone who's looking for the audio and is pissed that they didn't get it, I do apologize, but I run a show where I react to sports stuff and stuff happening in the sports landscape, and it's not my fault that they have copyright laws in the country of America. So let me know what you guys think. I'll catch you next time.